Last time on Sailing Soulianis. The town of Charlevoix proves to be a fun little playground, and we spend a week with friends in Oyster Bay. Kirk dove on our centerboard, we get a hand-me-down dinghy, and we go sailing aboard our friend's Hinkley 42.
Charlevoix was as far north as we were going to get this summer. It was time for us to turn around and head back south. I've been hugging the wind right here at just 30 degrees apparent wind off our bow. We're using the shore effect of the wind, which is wrapping around this coast here. And you can see our path. We've gone and just hugging that coastline. So we're going to here. So the closer we get to the shore, the more west we get out of our wind and the further southwest we can go. And that's what's caused our course to just slowly turn to the west. I have not touched this wheel in probably 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe not quite that long.
No.
10 minutes.
Yeah. But still.
But we have no autopilot on, even though it looks like it. We are sailing perfectly 30 degrees apparent wind, and the boat is absolutely balanced. And it's continuing our arcing path for us, just as if we had a wind vane, because the boat is balanced so perfectly and we do not have any wave action whatsoever. So we're just along for the ride. The boat's doing all the work. Pretty sweet.
It was a 30 nautical mile sail from Charlevoix back to Leland. The sun was out, no one was around, and I finally got to experience what it's like to be truly free, something I've been dreaming about for a long time.
It's so nice that it's not salty. I'm not like worried about stepping on a sea ray or jellyfish or sharks or getting a mouthful of salt. My nipples aren't chafed when I come out of the water. It's been so long since I've been in freshwater. It's so cool. I'm gonna go jump in the water one more time. It's kind of interesting. It looks a little bit like the movies when they put the blue filter over to make it look like dark. You know it's bright out, but it kind of looks dark.
Phil's here!
Yay!
We had a friend come visit us. He didn't fly across the country to come see us, actually.
I did. I also had a meeting though.
Oh, it was for us, and
Yeah.
then you actually happened to have a meeting?
Yeah, Hobie paid for it, but I came here for you.
Aww.
We've had a pretty wild past 24 hours. Yesterday was the solar eclipse, and 12 hours ago, the lake was flat calm. We could water ski on it. Midday, you couldn't tell the sky from the water. There was no horizon line. It was nuts. And for the last 6 hours, we have been heeled over at the dock.
Hi. Kirk's gonna go surfing and he's super excited.
We've had like 30, I saw 32 knots at one point. That's true wind speed because we're not moving. I've got like 8 dock lines out. But the sun has just broken out The wind is scaled back a little bit. I think it's at like 15 knots right now. My buddy Phil just brought over a sup from his Hobie retreat, and I'm going to check off another one of my bucket list items, and that is to go surfing in freshwater in the Great Lakes. And I'm freaking ecstatic. Oh God, I fell over. I am so excited. I gotta pump up the surfboard and get out there before it gets too cold, because I think the wind's gonna keep going.
We're at
20 knots right now. So.
Do it.
I have a leash. All right, kids, don't try this at home. I've got a bowline tied to my makeshift leash, which is tied to a bowline. Runs out, tied to that. And then we got this guy. Just like that. This is my happy surfing dance. Surfing off my own boat.
Does it come with a song?
I'm gonna surf, I'm gonna surf, I'm gonna surf, hey, 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 hey. Come on, let's go. That board is not good for surfing. Turns out the homemade leash was not a good idea. There was no give in the rope, and a couple of times it felt like the board was going to rip my foot off. After taking off the leash, it didn't take too many more waves before I ended up losing the board. One of the other surfers on the beach saw my predicament and ended up lending me a spare leash. The inflatable sup definitely was not ideal for the short period windsaw we had, but that was totally okay. I got to catch my first freshwater waves and finally got to surf off my own sailboat. I said no salt in my surfing waves.
And I said no salt for the margarita, but it had salt on it.
Look at that.
What's that?
You paddled right to our boat.
Surfed off our own boat. Another first.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a hot shower real quick and then we can do lunch.
Okay. We got some sandwiches from the Village Cheese Shanty, a must stop if you visit Leland. We planned to stop in Leland for one night, but the high winds and breaking waves at the harbor entrance made leaving a pretty sketchy endeavor. Since the marina is small, maneuvering your boat can be quite difficult. The weather ended up socking us in for 3 days. But that was okay. We got to use the extra time in Leland to go exploring. Got a smudge on your lens.
Here's a smudge on my lens. Okay, where are we going?
We're going to the Whaleback Preserve, I think it's called.
Duck.
Which is about 1.5 miles outside of downtown Leland. We're gonna hike up through a bunch of woods and through some private property. That's okay, because it's sanctioned. And get to the cliff overlooking Lake Michigan.
Favorite thing is to hike to a good lookout. Like that video that we watched today from Patagonia with the people climbing that really skinny spine. That's what I want to do. I like hiking to tall places with good views. If only we could crush some of those grapes and drink them right now. With the cold front having moved through, the wind finally pulled back to 10 to 15, and we had our chance to leave.
Kirk, what just happened?
We just did like a 4-point turn to get out of the slip, and we had a bunch of amazing help from the boaters in Leland. Thank you so much. You guys were awesome.
We literally had 8 or 10 people helping us out of the slip.
So we backed out, and I thought I was gonna back all the way out of the slip, and the boat just wasn't doing it, so I backed straight into the other slip.
Across the channel.
And we had a guy get on our spring line and hold us in so that I could make the turn to go out. And man, if it wasn't for those guys, we would have been screwed. So thank you so much to everybody. It was really awesome to have the goodwill of boaters helping you out.
And if I heard correctly, I think you said backing out of the slip was fun.
It was fun. It was an adrenaline rush, and I didn't ruin anything. But it wasn't me at all. It was everyone that helped. So thank you so much. Let's get some sails up.